Welcome to the combat guide video for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. After watching this and practicing a bit, you should be able to annihilate almost anything. I'll cover all the stuff that is required to know how to attack and defend properly, how to fight multiple enemies, how to position yourself, how to mix things up, etc. Now listen, you flailing bastards. General rule is that blunt type weapons like maces, cudgels and such are great against heavily armored enemies. Slashing and piercing damage is great against everyone else. Weapons can be divided into two categories, specialized and general. Specialized weapons are sword for non-armored and mace for armored enemies. General weapons are axes and something like bardiche, a polearm. Both good against armor and non-armor, but not great against either of the two. Each weapon type has different directional attacks, with only the sword being capable of attacking from all sides. Alright, now we are in front of an enemy and have no idea what to do. How to attack, what to do so that the enemy doesn't simply counterattack. First, notice on which side is the enemy's weapon. If you attack the side where the weapon is, then there's a higher chance the enemy is going to block or counterattack. So best bet, especially early on before enemies are capable of doing master strikes that I'm going to cover later, is to attack the side where there's no weapon or shield. Single strike attack is a good idea to probe enemies a bit to see what they are capable of. Although the best way to attack with a single strike is to use feints. Feint is not a special move or anything like that, it's just a quick attack after changing the direction that has more chances of hitting than the normal strike. So just move direction to the opposite side and immediately press attack to do the feint. Another effective single strike attack is the Interception. Most enemies that don't wield short swords attack slower than Henry, which means we can intercept their attack. Best interception weapons are the ones that can attack from the bottom, like polearms and swords, because the bottom attack is the fastest one. Principle of interception attacks is simple. As soon as the enemy starts the attack, you attack as well. Clinching, when combined with perks that improve clinch combat, can be very effective. But to clinch we have to move into the enemy, which can be dangerous if done from a distance. So the best time for clinching is after blocking or dodging. That gives enough time to close the distance without the danger of being hit. Block or dodge and then run or walk into the enemy. Good fighters will immediately try to attack you from the clinch, so be prepared to block and then quickly counterattack yourself. If the enemy is not attacking immediately upon clinching, then spam the attack button to overpower them. Simple move that works fantastic when used properly. Combos are guaranteed damage dealers if they are successfully performed, which can be a bit problematic. It's difficult to perform a combo because enemies usually break the combo chain by counterattacking. What I would advise is to stick with simple combos like left, right, left or right, left, right. This is something that can be done with every weapon, but the question is when to use it. Best time to use combos is when the enemy is exhausted, because they can't defend efficiently. Unfortunately, that can take a while, especially against many enemies. Here's what I do. For me, the best method of applying combos is after blocking the attack. Don't riposte. Instead, let the riposte icon disappear and then start attacking with the combo in mind. Usually works after the block, less so after dodging for some reason. It's also dependent on the weapon. With polearms, for me it is much more difficult to perform the combo. With a quick weapon like the short sword, it is easy.
Just your turn when they were handing out cents, eh? Two.
There is an indicator when to exactly attack to continue performing a combo. Rosette changes color a bit. Color becomes washed out for a brief millisecond. That is an indicator when to continue attacking in order to perform a combo. Subtle clue, but it's there. So whenever the color changes, strike again to continue the attack chain. Next are Master Strikes. These bastards take combat to the next level. Master Strikes are taught by masters found throughout the game, so can't be used before learning them. Enemies that can perform Master Strikes are mostly found in the second region, but towards the end of the first region there's gonna be a couple as well. Applying Master Strike offensively is easy. Simply move your weapon to the opposite side of the enemy's weapon. If the enemy has their weapon up, you bring it down. If the enemy has it on the left, looking from your perspective, then your weapon should be on your right side. Use attack instead of block when green shield pops up, and that's pretty much it. Problem is when enemies are capable of using Master Strikes. Then your attack options are limited. If they can perform a Master Strike, never attack from the opposite side, as they will Master Strike most of the time, leaving you unable to do anything. Instead, attack from any other open side except the opposite. That means, for example, if the enemy has their weapon up, don't attack from the bottom. Attack from left and right instead. Now let's see how to fight against enemies with shields. It's rather simple what works against them. Obviously, attacking from the shielded side is not smart. There are two methods I use against the tin can bastards with a lead in their hands. One method is to perform simple left-right-left combo. This makes the weapon side busy with the first strike because the combo starts from the weapon side, and the enemy is likely to block my second attack that is attacking the shielded side, which leaves them vulnerable for the combo finisher.
When they were handing out cents, eh? You're finished, wanker!
Another efficient method is to dodge to the left and then either strike or initiate the clinch. Attack is a better option, but clinch can be good to mix things up.
Come on! I don't have all day! Want to try me? He came, he saw, he shot himself.
Now let's see what are some good defensive methods. Of course, Master Strikes being the best, easiest and most efficient to use, but before acquiring those techniques, you'll have to use riposts, blocks and dodges. Riposte might seem like a good counter-attack method at first, but quickly you'll realize it's a stamina pit. By exchanging riposte with enemies, eventually someone is going to run out of stamina. In this game, most fights are against 2 or 3 enemies at once, so going out of stamina while dealing with many enemies is not a good idea. Riposte is best used once or twice, and if it doesn't work, leave it be. Some enemies, especially unarmored ones, can be easily taken care of with riposte strikes, so try it against them, mostly to take them out first when fighting more than one enemy. Against more capable enemies, it's not gonna lead to any success, because the stamina used is not worth only to scratch an armored enemy. Like I've mentioned in the combo section, it's better to block, let the riposte icon disappear, and then attack or do something else. Blocking is also mandatory while on low stamina, but only blocking, no attacks. Use it for pure defense to recover stamina. There are 2 blocks, normal and perfect. Perfect is when the green shield icon is up. I only use perfect because it's easy to do so. Normal block is used in rare situations when panic sets in. If you find yourself using a normal block, that means you fucked up and are losing composure. Chill and aim for perfect blocks again.
I'm all yours. Bleeding, are ya?
Dodging is a very effective way to defend that opens up new attacking angles. I don't think the game is utilizing angles as it should, but still dodging can create beneficial situations. By combining block and dodge, enemies get more confused, which opens up easy attack possibilities, like the basic riposte that works more often in that case. Here's what I try to do in almost every fight against capable enemies. Attack once to probe the enemy, then dodge after they counterattack. Attack after dodge, and then mix in block with occasional riposte attempts. As you can see, riposte actually works when mixed in with dodge and block, but rarely works when continuously doing block and riposte.
Get to pieces! Hey! What the? Blood?
Now let's see how fighting against capable enemies looks like when we mix everything together. I'll use the axe first because my heavy weapons skill is currently the lowest out of all the others, so I'm at a disadvantage when fighting enemies at this stage of the game. Don't have Master Strike as well, so it should be a tough fight because enemies can use it.
Beat you to a bloody pulp, fucker! Fuck yourself! No, you don't. I'll beat you to a bloody pulp.
Swords are my highest skill and I have the Master Strike. Short swords specifically work great in the game because of the speed. Even armored enemies with high skill in a specific weapon type can't survive for long as I'm cutting through them easily.
Now you pissed me off.
What am I doing? Aside from making mistakes here and there, which is perfectly normal due to lots of options, I am trying to mix my attacks by combining feints and combos with occasional clinch while mixing blocks and dodging on the defensive end. Being unpredictable opens up many opportunities like the riposte that doesn't work if spammed, but when mixed with all the other stuff it hits more often.
You pissed me off, you fucker. Alert! To arms! What? That weapon won't help you.
Now on to the toughest part, that is fighting many enemies at once. Different rules apply here. My method to fight off many enemies is simple even though it might seem chaotic at first. First is to have enemies in a line. That means utilizing dodge sometimes to get in proper position. Enemies need to be in a way of each other, otherwise they will surround and kill you quickly and easily. Don't target lock when fighting many enemies as it is going to limit your defensive options significantly. Instead, leave it unlocked. The way I deal with many enemies is to use my highest level weapon type, in this case it's a sword. We have to dispatch enemies as quickly as possible, so trying to improve under-leveled weapons is not an option against many tough enemies. That means using master strikes, feints and similar attacks when attacking, and only using one or two attacks, rarely combos. Going for combos while fighting many enemies is not a good idea unless the target is exhausted, in which case go for it because an exhausted enemy can't defend the combo. But be very sporadic about trying it out. Spamming attacks versus a group of enemies is going to lead to your quick death. You heard me saying that riposte doesn't work mostly when fighting one or two enemies. For some reason, when fighting 3 or more enemies, a simple riposte becomes much more efficient. Maybe it's coding related or something, but the fact is that using riposte against many enemies is a good thing. Wait for the perfect block and try riposte once or maybe twice. If it works, great. If it doesn't, go back on the defensive. Just don't get dragged into subsequent ripostes with the enemy because your stamina is going to drain quickly, and many enemies with full stamina around you are going to use that opportunity to attack. To summarize, fighting against many enemies at once is mostly about positioning so that they are in a way of each other. That makes them inefficient, which leaves you enough room to operate. Be careful with attacks, probe the enemy with quick feints and ripostes, don't get sucked into long combos and stay on the defensive. Overall, combat comes down to practice and reading the situation. It's important to stay calm and not to overindulge with senseless attacks, because enemies are going to punish you. Check out the description for Patreon, subscribe to our merch, and thanks for watching. That's all.
I'm just getting started. I'll be in your place. Fuck you. Think you can face me?